So there's this very interesting developing story that's occurring in Russia where there's a plane full of people from Tel Aviv, who clearly some of them are Jews or Jewish, and not only did they land the plane once, but they landed it again because they were running from the first place that they landed, which there was a mob there waiting for the plane from Tel Aviv coming into Russia. But then the second time that the same plane landed, there was also another mob of people there. And the mob of people from this developing story, I don't know when this is happening, uh, actually turned on the law enforcement that were trying to keep the people on the plane safe. This mob wanted to see the passports of the folks coming off the plane to see which one of them were Jews, and they wanted to confront them, but clearly they're violent. I mean, if you see these videos, they're bloodthirsty people. It is definitely a principality. I'm 100% sure. It sounds demonic when you listen to them screaming this, Allahu Akbar, whatever they're saying, and you could hear it in their voice and in the way that they say and speak, the rhythm, the fact that they're swift to shed blood, which, by the way, is one of the things God hates. He hates feet, swift to shed blood. I think the Jewish community might be like 0.2% of the whole world. Like, in the whole world, there's really not a lot of Jewish people. It might seem that there are, but there's really not. I think it would be extremely wise. I thought this was an option before. Now I'm not sure it's an option anymore. I really think the Jewish community needs to find local Christian communities that are willing to be an external support system for Jewish people, because there's not a lot of Jewish people anyway. So they need to be actively, Jewish people need to be actively reaching out. I thought this was an option. I thought, well, Christians can reach out and just tell them, hey, there's some media that's a little damaging and like worrying. We're very upset about what's happening, and of course people did die, but I didn't think that it was like so or worldwide. There's something more in this battle between Hamas and Israel. It's something very deep and dark and sinister and evil, and it's not local, it's worldwide, and it's definitely a mindset. Yeah, I don't think Jewish people are safe, like for real, like in a very, very real way. They need to be reaching out to not just themselves, like, because I know they're a strong community as it is, but they need to be reaching out for backup plans, plan B, outside of themselves, local churches, local communities to help assist, maybe as security, maybe you don't have to pay for security, maybe you can get local church members to help assist with taking, helping people get from one place to another, or there's got to be something. The church has got to be able to do something here, and I really don't think the Jewish people can just defend or protect themselves. They need more psychological and emotional protection, and that means that we're going to have to really be serious about reaching out to them. I'm seeing all these sad videos from these Jewish people, like expressing their fear and their anxiety and the nightmare that they're living in. I mean, it's a nightmare watching it from the outside, but because it feels personal, but at the same time, because it feels like a humanity issue. Like, my gosh, something's wrong. Like, we have decided as humans to self-destruct, and it is a frightening time. It's so scary how thirsty for blood people are right now, and not just any kind of blood, but Jewish blood. Very weird. So yeah, again, one of my point in this video is I don't think Jewish people or the Jews have a choice. I do think they're going to have to reach out to their allies who are Christian first, because clearly these other allies are so mixed up, and it as a backup plan, as an outside source for emotional, psychological support, so that you don't feel like an island into yourself. I can see a psychological kind of meltdown happening, and these are just people recording themselves like I do. I just record and talk. This news from Russia is the most frightening thing I've ever heard of. They're communicating through Telegram, and they're communicating with each other. These what are these pro-Hamas people? I don't know what they are, but they're all men. And they're all following these planes that are coming in from Israel. It's almost like the world is deciding something without really talking to each other as a world. Like, all these people are not really connecting together. So it's definitely something dark and sinister, and it's personal. And that's what I'm really I can't wrap my head around it. Like, why are people taking this so personally? And it's even dividing. Folks who used to be on the left are now moving right, like far right. Because they're like, this is so scary that there are people on the left who support terrorism. I'm hearing them talk, on the TikToks. And otherwise, my life is just working. I just work. But it's really a dangerous thing if you get stuck in your work and you get stuck in just your own little bubble. You don't realize how fast the world is decaying around you, and it can start knocking on your door very quickly. And I do think that I'll put the video down below. There's a doctor, a famous actress, and she is talking about how she doesn't feel insulated, like she doesn't feel safe here in America, the same way the Jews in Israel saying, hey, at least we feel protected. But, the whole world, their own folks are coming in and signing up to be in the military, and there's a lot of support that they feel personally, but they're like, oh, but you guys in America, I don't think you guys are safe, because there's really not, unless you have like maybe a local Jewish community, but I think this actress might be left. She might be left-leaning, so I don't think she's hardened to the religion. So she does not feel safe, and she's saying that it's the mezuzahs on the door. I just saw a really beautiful one recently, actually. It's very beautiful. It's very, I don't know, it's just gorgeous. It's silver and looked very fancy. Anyhow, I didn't realize this, but I know that the rabbis say that they have to be the people who put the mezuzahs on the door, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and it has to be leaned a certain way in order for it to be, what is the word, kosher? I don't know. I think maybe that's food, but approved is like a mitzvah that has to be done just so. The inside of the scroll can't be damaged. The outside can't be scarred, scratched, or opened in any way, because you can't damage the inside of the scroll. And the scroll is a special prayer or like a Bible verse, Old Testament, and it can't have any type of damage to the wording inside the scroll, to the Hebrew. It has to be done perfectly. So the rabbi has to open it, or right before it's sealed, he has to make sure to examine the scroll before placing it in there and putting it on a specific part of the door. This is my question. I know Jewish people shouldn't hide who they are. I'm not saying that at all, because they have nothing to be ashamed of course. Maybe rabbis should consider and reach out. This is my opinion, because I'm not Jewish. Maybe they should reach out to their people, their own little groups of temple folks, and offer to put the mezuzah inside the door. And I know they're supposed to be on a certain side of the door frame. I'm pretty sure that's part of the rules. According to this actress, in her neighborhood, the places are becoming vandalized because their doors are kind of already marked with the mezuzah. So maybe a new rule needs to be applied in order to keep the Jews safe. Put the mezuzah inside the door frame and not outside the door frame. This is my opinion. I know maybe it's like breaking a huge rule. Something's got to happen. Definitely reaching out to the local Christian communities, and 100% think that has to happen. Like, I don't think Jewish folks have a choice. And I think the Jewish community, or the Christian community, would be the safest. And especially the ones that are very old-fashioned, like the Catholics, very safe, because they're not progressive in any way, shape, or form. It's very scary. Why is it escalating so quickly? It's kind of got me messed up a little bit. Like, it's like a dark cloud occurring. I did not know that. I mean, I saw it in Germany. I saw the photos of people putting the Star of David on doors in Germany, but I thought, well, it has a weird history. But here in the United States too? Is this like people's way of releasing stress or something? It's like you find a scapegoat and then you just go for it. You want to bond with people, and you just sit around talking about how people shouldn't exist anymore, like a whole group of people shouldn't exist. Is that a thing? I mean, I don't think people should be afraid, but I'm not going to say it's not kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Anyway, this is Linda Christ King forever. May God bless you.